Welcome back, my friends. Here we are, Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 3. Full breakdown, spoilers ahead. So get ready. I'm Peel.
And I'm Travis, and this is the Travis and Peel Show.
All right, Travis, here we are, third episode, only 3 more left. Disney Plus, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Man, they went to a new level on this one. They went a little different route.
Just when you thought the MCU was done. We
Just
thought they
when
were
you
done. There was nothing left
Maybe
that they
not.
could do. Nothing to prove, nothing they could do, and they give us this. It was pretty good.
It was a great episode, man. We obviously didn't get. Oh, we did get a nice little piece of action, but not the action driven as like the first episode. But this was a really good episode, and of course, bringing Zemo out, man. This was a nice little pickup from where we left off and what they needed to do. And here we go, man. So let's lead into this. Let's talk about what we liked, a little highlights of it, some of the lows if we have any, and then give our honest thoughts.
Yeah. So we jumped into right at the forefront, though, which was really interesting with this. They gave us the WandaVision treatment and opened up with a commercial for the GRC, the Global Repatriation Council. And they're essentially this group, which we're probably going to hear more leading into the end of the series.
This is not going away.
They're not going away whatsoever. But they're some sort of like group that assists blip-related refugees with like resources and court settlements and everything to help acclimate them emotionally and financially into the real world,
back into the system.
Back into the system. And then from that logo, we cut directly to that logo once again, but this time on a SWAT van, like a SWAT van. And busting out of that is our favorite and the internet's favorite Captain America, Mr. John Walker, and
Battlestar
straight up tells cops to essentially show no mercy. This to police officers, show no mercy, and I quote, do not give them the opportunity to breathe, which for an episode that comes out the week of the George Floyd trials, that's a really strong fucking message for Captain America to say to police officers on the streets and stuff like that. So I thought
this
that was
is
a little bit,
Steve Rogers.
This is absolutely no Steve Rogers. So he comes in.
Hashtag not my cap.
And they do this rap. This raid, and the perp that they were trying to interview doesn't give Captain America, doesn't give John Walker very much respect, and
not at all.
John
spit
Walker
in the face.
Essentially
That's
shows
like a
us
spit in America's face.
He essentially shows us that everything that Steve Rogers was, John Walker is not maybe the opposite, but he doesn't hold a torch to that kind of patriotism, to that kind of nobility, and
their
range
routes
of ethics.
diverted.
They do divert. I think deep down Walker wants to do good, but I think he is starting to see or feel that he is not good enough to be as good as he needs to be, and I think that goes back to his initial conversation with Hoskins in his high school locker room. He was like, I don't know if I can be what they need me to be. And it almost feels like everybody
he's taking the wrong road right now.
Everybody on the show, like Bucky and everybody, they all feel the same way. Like
very insecure masculinity going on here in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and I am all for that. So after that happens and John screams, "Do you know who I am?" Like it's just a really, really entitled, whiny baby response to a guy just being a little tough on him. So Battlestar takes him outside, tries to talk him down. But while that happens, but we have Bucky with the lead after the lead-in from showing that we're getting Zemo back. Checks in on Zemo in his cell. Funny enough, Zemo tries to pull the keywords, the key phrases.
It gives me the old keywords, you know.
I like that. They clearly don't.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah, so they clearly don't work. But then after an initial meeting with them, we actually revert back to Sam and Bucky just talking and everything, just kind of like giving a review on the meeting with Zemo. And then...
well, the hypotheticals that could happen here.
The hypotheticals that could happen if
this was great.
Yeah, it was really great. This is actually a really cool tactic that they used to not have the episode be just about breaking... because the whole episode easily could have been about breaking Zemo out of jail. But no, they were like, I already broke them out.
They gave it the Ocean's 11 routine. That's what they did. They gave it the old Ocean's 11 routine.
It was just
little snips and flashes of what could happen, and then hey, it did happen.
It actually just happened. Like it all happened, and then boom, Zemo's
Here's
there.
Zemo.
Zemo's there. Sam is not happy with being kept in the dark on this. He's actually pretty pissed, but gives in to working with Zemo. Hey, look, one good turn deserves another, and these guys are just going to continue to lie to each other, or at least hide the truth from each other. As the season goes along.
And then, what is Zemo? What did they not know about Zemo?
What? How so?
He's rich, bitch.
Yeah, we discovered that Zemo, he's actually Baron Zemo and massively rich. He
and they do say something here. He talks about, hey, don't forget, my family was royalty before you guys destroyed my country of Sokovia, and since that has happened, other countries have now taken over the land before the rocks have even settled.
Yeah, they mentioned that, who was it? Was it Rhodey in the beginning of this episode where he's like, after the blip, so many things happened like across the entire world that it actually like drew new borders. Like we don't know what this, we could look at the map of the world and what it looks like right now, like in terms of like what all the countries look like. And I bet you it's massively different. Like America may stay the same, but I think some of these like Eastern European countries and stuff like that, they may actually kind of like start to.
That's what I want to bring up. Here's my rabbit hole.
Ooh.
The Eastern European countries, as we know it, they were in Latvia. But what else? Yeah, Latvia, but not Latvia. And as we know, Dr. Doom.
It's from Latvia.
Eastern European. He is rich. He is technically royalty, and he is now technically in the MCU. I think this might be some kind of setup, or, like I said, rabbit hole here. This might be a nice little setup of something taking over that territory and building something on it. Somebody can come out looking like a hero, like somebody who can take over and can change the complete landscape of that place and make it better for the people where they worship that individual. It sounds like a very early Doctor Doom origin story, just to say, we'll see what happens. It could be completely nothing, as we know. But that's my little rabbit hole.
I wouldn't be surprised if Doctor Doom is waiting in the wings somewhere in the background.
Because what else happens in this episode? Where do they go? Well,
where's
the island?
I'm sorry? What island?
Yeah, the island's in the Philippines.
Oh, you're talking about Madripoor. We're not...
Yes.
Yeah. So
we'll X-Men heavy.
Yeah, so we'll get the Madripoor in a second, but I'm with you. I do think Latveria at some point in the MCU is going to set up Latveria for some sort of Eastern European takeover and stuff like that. Because we know, we do have our first official Fox property, which is Fantastic Four, and 125,000% you can guarantee that Doctor Doom will have a presence in that movie. So it's time to set him up. I
can't wait to see what the MCU does with it. Oh God,
it could be cool.
The last two iterations, man.
It could be cool.
Oh. The first iterations, the original one, I don't think was that bad actually. I kind of liked the character and everything of it. But I want to see the MCU Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I'm with him.
Oh no, sorry, I'm a geek about Doctor Doom. I absolutely love this villain. He's one of my favorites. So I can't wait for him to come to fruition in the MCU. So, anyways, we digress.
Yes, we do.
The trio of new friends: Zemo, Bucky, and Sam.
Yeah, so actually before they go, we need to touch on the Flag Smashers a little bit. They don't really do that much in this episode. They're more, they're definitely more sympathetic of a group for sure at this point. They're kind of like Robin Hood
to start with.
Yeah, well, to start with, that's actually true. But like Carly did like straight up murder people in that bomb.
Yeah,
last week and everything. So
to start with,
but then this week we're back to her being sympathetic and like she's sad over someone who's close to her that died. Like so, like there's all this flip flopping on how we should feel about the Flag Smashers. Nothing much happens with them. I think that's really
but the last we see them, they're robbing the GAC bank or whatever, the place that they're like staying at that has like over 6 months of like rations and stuff. They rob the place, they're leaving, and old dude with the long hair is all like, hey, you gonna get your car? She's like, nah. She's like, they get in his vehicle, buckle up. What do you mean? Boom.
Yeah.
Blows it up, and he turns and looks at her and he goes, there were still people inside. And she says, this is the only kind of message they understand. And then they drive off. Just wasted. men, women, children, security guards at a place in the middle of the night, just completely murdered them. So Flag Smashers, yeah, they did a little sympathy poll where you're like, oh man, I can see where they're coming from. And like, oh, dick move.
Well, maybe the Flag Smashers as an organization will stay sympathetic, but Carly is slowly crossing that line herself.
Oh yeah, she's definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we learn more about her during the story.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you were alluding to, so we do have Zemo, Sam, and Bucky. They arrive in Madripoor, which is a little country / city that is extremely prominent, mainly in the X-Men comics and everything. So this is a huge tie-in.
Old pirate nation that never changed its ways.
Yeah. They don't extradite anybody who other countries are looking for. It's pirate law, pretty much, in the city, and it has been frequented by many X-Men. It's been a staging ground for merc work for Wolverine for some time. Even some of the bars that are in here are
Xavier even had a school there,
straight from the comic books and stuff like that. So Madripoor is going to it's a place that we're going to see more of when we
definitely
get
are
to X-Men and stuff like that, for sure. So they use disguises to assist in their infiltration of this mission.
Smiling Tiger.
Yeah, Falcon dresses up as Smiling Tiger, which is another comic book character, a very minor comic book character, but it's really just played for laughs at this point. And then when they go to the nightclub, we also have Zemo single-handedly breaking the internet with his with his little dance and everything. It's so great. It's so good. But at the club, Zemo instigates a fight because Bucky is also in disguise, but he's in disguise as
Winter Soldier.
As the Winter Soldier. Kicks a couple of guys' asses. I did notice that some people were filming.
Yes,
the
that was
fight.
very prominent in there. They were showing him, and that's going to come back later to bite him in the ass.
That's going to come back. That's going to come back for sure. I think that's probably what's going to get John Walker
He's going to be in trouble.
to officially go after Bucky. I think that's the direction that's going to go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how we're going to get John Walker back in this,
Makes sense.
This escalation.
Makes sense.
So they are
Stay the hell out of my way.
After the fight, they're pulled away by a woman named Selby, who in that conversation says they should seek out Wilfred Nagel, and then Selby is immediately just killed off by a sniper shot. And then once she is dead, other mercs are notified to that she's dead, and that
instantly, not even other mercs, the citizens of Madripoor are notified of this.
And then there's a bounty.
How many $1 million bounty?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
$15 million bounty or something.
Asinine amount of money just to kill somebody. Enough to make anyone think about it. And so they are having to rush out of this club. So Sharon Carter, who
I can't run in these heels,
who comes out to be that was really good. So Sharon Carter, who is a huge fan
from Captain America,
from the Captain America films.
The niece of course, Peggy Carter.
Yep. And she ends up being the sniper who killed Selby, and then she pulls them away and helps them on their escape. They discuss Nagel, and Sharon tells them that Nagel works for the power broker, and he's trying to create a new super soldier serum.
Off of Isaiah Bradley's blood.
Exactly. Yeah, based off of Isaiah. So of course this is going to hit a soft spot with Sam, because he is not liking the way that Isaiah was treated. So they rush over to Nagel at a Madripoor shipyard, and they find his lab, and they sit him down for questioning.
Secret lair.
A little secret scientific lair, if you will. So Nagel knew who Zemo was, right? Like he worked for Hydra, but like the look that Nagel gave, I feel like the look on his face, he was like, I'm fucking dead. Fucking Helmet Zero is here. I am dead. Like he knew.
Yep.
That look on his face. It wasn't fear.
Yeah, because he looked at him and just looked down.
It wasn't anger.
It was loss. It was
like he just knew that
hopelessness.
Hopelessness. Yeah. He knew.
There we go. That's what that look was.
So Nagel admitted working for Hydra, and then he was eventually hired by the CIA and worked on Hydra's old based off of like old notes and old
He
scientist
was a
notes and stuff like that,
god.
he was actually able to create a super soldier serum, and we've seen it with the Flag Smashers that doesn't use all the clunky
No big clunky
machines stepped
machines.
in. You don't turn into a big hulking bruiser or anything like that. Just the body
It's
that
you
you're in.
with superpowers.
You get the superpowers based off this new serum.
What happened to him? Why didn't this go mainstream?
Yeah, right.
He blipped.
Lots of yeah.
Blipped, turned to dust, gone.
He blipped.
Guys,
Got the
they're
old
so sad.
blippo, the old blipperooski. So once that happens, we get all the information we need. Of course, Zemo checks another name off his list and shoots him right in the chest. And also, in the same time, starts to, I don't know, explode the lab around them in the process and everything. So as they're, throughout this entire
Well, I
time...
think the rocket had something to do with that.
Yeah, probably. Like, what I love about this whole thing is that this entire time this conversation's happening downstairs, upstairs, Sharon Carter is just like kicking like
kicking ass.
tons of ass. Like she's out there, she's ruling. She's ruling.
All the asses.
And she's straight up murdering people. Like she's not just like incapacitating.
No
him.
joke.
She's like
Punisher style.
Like headshots, point blank, stabbing people in the throat. It's very noticeable that she was just killing people. Yeah. So this is definitely a different
Good
Sharon
for her.
Carter.
Good for her.
Well, she needs to do something.
I mean, she got screwed out of the deal. This episode did talk about that she did not get, freed from all the charges. She didn't have the Avengers at her back. She didn't get pardoned from any of this. And that's what Sam gets, I guess a carrot, quote unquote. But this also comes back to question later on at the end of the episode about, is this really a carrot? Because Sharon Carter is not the same Sharon Carter that we knew. That is not Peggy Carter's little niece anymore.
Yeah, she's definitely different.
And there is some shady shit going on. She's either very close to the power broker or she is the power broker herself.
Where are we at? Okay, so they fight off
Ship
the
blew
rest.
up.
They fight off the rest of the bounty hunters. We got Winter
Zemo
Soldier.
goes all fucking kick ass.
Winter Soldier does his thing and throws like a steel pipe through a person. Everybody else is doing their thing hand-to-hand combat wise, and then Zemo gets the slow money shot, puts on the purple mask, and just blows shit up. He actually even goes hand-to-hand, goes a little melee.
Yeah.
He's got some moves, man. Who would have known it? I thought it was a little too much. I do have a gripe. I thought he doesn't have to know how to fist fight. He doesn't seem...
But he does. He's a trained combat special force.
That's true.
Like, he is a badass.
That's true.
He is a psychological, financial... He is Batman in a purple mask.
He is fucking Batman. Now that I think about it. He's the MCU's Batman. He sure as hell is.
What is your superpower, Zemo? I'm rich.
There we go.
I'm rich.
So this rich guy pulls up after this fight, pulls up in a obviously stolen vehicle and gets Sam
when he opens
and
up that
Bucky
carrier, he looks at it. He's super excited about it.
Yeah. So Sam and Bucky hop in. Sam and Bucky hop in. Sam's in the back. Bucky's in the front, and then we get a little nod to
reverse of Civil War.
Or was it Civil War? Was it Winter Soldier when that happened?
It was Civil War because they were in the bug, and this is when Sharon Carter actually stole the shield and his wings.
Gave it back to him.
And they were on their way to meet Ant-Man, yeah.
You're right, yeah. So they get in the car, and then this time, Sam's in the back seat.
I'm a big fan of you.
Sam's in the back seat, and he says the inevitable line, "You're not going to put your seat up, are you?" And
nope.
No, he's not going to. Great line.
Revenge.
Awesome callback. My favorite type of comedy are like really, really deep callbacks, and that right there just tickled
running
me.
jokes.
It tickled me fancy. And then
it was great.
Then the last two scenes, we kick back to Sharon, who runs off, but she turns a corner, and then there is another woman in a very, very nice vehicle, and Sharon says, "Hey, look, we have a problem. A couple of them, actually. I'll tell you about it in the car." And they take
Then gets
off.
her door open for her, and she sits in the back seat as her butler lady or bodyguard gets in the driver's seat.
So Sharon clearly is a different person, and she's working for someone. She's not doing it for herself. So it could be the power broker. It could be... we didn't really tell. We did learn more about the power broker this episode. He's judge, jury, and executioner. He's clearly being set up to be like the big bad. So we're probably going to get a lot more Power Broker next week for sure.
In this final scene, here we are, man. Zemo and Sam and Bucky are going to follow the next lead. And as they're getting in there, Bucky's like, hey, I'm just going to take a little walk. I'll be right back. You guys do your thing and I'll come catch up with you. And picks up this little ball that we've seen before. Looks really familiar. Walking down the street, sees another one on the corner, goes down the dark alleyway, starts looking around, following the breadcrumbs. And who do we get? An agent of Wakanda.
Yeah, we get Ao. She was the very, very first Wakandan private guard, because they have that all-female Okoye is the leader of and everything. Well, this Ao is Okoye's second in command, and believe it or not, a little fun fact, Ao has been in that guard on the MCU longer than Okoye. Okoye came in
on screen
in Black Panther, whereas Ao has been there since Civil War. So Ao is actually the longest running Wakandan security guard, and it was cool to see her.
And they want Zemo.
They are not happy that they let Zemo out. So it'll be interesting now that Wakanda's in a mix. I did not see Wakanda coming in at all. So I'm excited for that.
Neither did I. So a great little twist to see what we're going to get here. And we have to wait till next week, Travis. We have to wait till next week.
I'm ready.
So during that week time frame, tell them what they can do.
They can do a lot. They, as in you, our viewer, you can actually like, share, and subscribe to this video. Also, you can tell a friend. You can tell an enemy if you want. You like?
I feel it.
I feel it.
Down in my soul, down in my soul.
And if you guys feel it, and if you had thoughts about episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, whoop, you can go to the Facebook page, whoop, or you can go to the YouTube page, whoop, whoop, and you can get yourself a nice little comment. Let us know how you felt about the episode and the things that you saw. And do you agree with what we said, or do you disagree? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. But until then,
amen.
You guys have a beautiful day. We love you. I love you. He loves you. You love us, maybe. And you take care. Have a good one.